Mother-in-law makes comments about my appearance. Me and my husband recently got married mid last year. We dated long distance for about 4 years as we were an international couple, and after our wedding I moved to my husband's home country. Now I don't know anyone other than my husband in this new country. However, my husband is one of the most genuine, loving, and caring people I know, and ultimately I felt he was worth moving across the world for. Since I've moved here, the majority of his family has been really welcoming, which included his 2 younger sisters and brother-in-law. However, my mill has been giving me a hard time since I've moved here. It started off as subtle backhanded comments about my weight and appearance that initially I told myself I was simply overthinking. Some instances include: the first time I ever met his mom, she made a comment that I had really skinny legs and that I carry my weight on my upper body, which she said will eventually lead to leg pain in the future if I gain weight. I honestly, though the comment was a little odd, especially when meeting for the first time, but didn't think much of it. When I first moved, his sister and his cousin decided to do a 3-month weight loss challenge together because they go to the same gym. One night at dinner, Sil was telling us about it and Mill interrupts and asks if I was also going to do the weight loss challenge with them. I tell her I'm not, and then she proceeds to ask me 2 more times if I'm going to do it and that I should do it. Again, I thought it was a little weird, but again shrugged it off. She now sends me weekly belly fat reduction workouts she finds through Forwards, and whenever we visit asks if I'm doing them. For reference, I'm 5 feet 6 inches and 160 pounds. After we went to a family party one night, she tells me to come into her room and tells me that the bra that I'm wearing is inappropriate, and then proceeds to lift up her shirt to show and tell me that I should wear bras like her to reduce the appearance of my chest because right now it doesn't look good and it's inappropriate. At this I was mortified because I was super caught off guard with this interaction and embarrassed that something might have been wrong with my bra, although I asked my husband afterwards and he said he didn't notice anything inappropriate about what I was wearing. For context, I was wearing a long-sleeve high-neck dress that went down to my knees. I do have a larger chest, but I wear properly fitted bras. After the first family event, we went to where we were asked to wear culturally traditional clothing. When my husband complimented me on my outfit, she went on a rant about how ugly my outfit was and how it was so outdated and embarrassing. This was the first time I genuinely got upset because my mom had bought me that outfit and it had sentimental value to me, which I explained, but she insisted it was embarrassing and not to ever wear it again. Since this instance, she now calls me before every single event to ask what I'm wearing and to confirm it's to her liking. If it's not to her liking, then she nags, criticizes, and insults my appearance until I change, especially when in person. This first started with just traditional clothing but now had expanded to any outfit I wear. She even told me to give the clothes my mom bought me away because it's so embarrassing to her. Right after the first family event, she tried to make me start wearing her old clothes at point, but, thankfully, she's smaller than I am so it didn't fit. Lastly, I have curly hair, in which my culture is not the stereotypical standard of beauty, which has never honestly bothered me before. However, whenever I wear my natural hair, she makes comments about how bad it looks and makes negative comments about its texture and the way I style it. My husband usually interjects whenever he hears this because he loves my curly hair, and when he does she usually will stop. She now waits until my husband isn't around to make comments that I find hurtful, because if he's around and hears them he'll say something to shut it down. In the beginning of our marriage we used to live with them for a short period of time, and she used to make comments implying that I was a bad wife because I didn't know how to make traditional food to our culture, and because I wasn't working. I was still waiting on my work permit and was finishing up a grad degree. Although I say all of this, I don't think she's specifically targeting me because she's also really hard on my sills, especially with their appearance. One of my sills recently put on a little weight and my mill has been saying very harsh things to her and telling her she needs to lose weight and that her stomach is hanging out. She's only 16. Today I finally broke down to my husband and said I just can't take it anymore, especially since my parents were not like this at all and I'm not used to this sort of environment. I've always been confident in myself and in my appearance, but I now find myself feeling really insecure. I genuinely don't know what to do. My husband had tried talking to her and has even asked my SILS to speak to her, but he says she feels ganged up on when they do and starts crying. So far I haven't had a confrontational conversation with her as my husband, and I felt that he should try to get through to her first. Any advice would be helpful, as this is really starting to affect my mental health and the situation isn't getting any better. Comment. Older lady here. She sounds absolutely vile, and I understand it's hard to stand up to her. As she waits until your husband isn't around, firstly, try to avoid being alone with her, and then if she says something, if she does get you alone, say let's ask what he thinks. Call him over and ask her to repeat it in front of him. If you are feeling brave enough, you could say quietly that hates it when you are mean to me. Honestly, I would be a bitch, but that's me. Oh, you want to shame and put me down? How bad a person must you be to have appearances as all you have left? Oh, you have to put my looks down because you know you're such an ugly person. Both inside and out. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. It's nothing but trash, and as shows who you are. We might be family by marriage, but that doesn't mean I have to hear you run your trap. Oh, you want respect, then give it first. You are not just given free rein to try and tear me down. Oh, I hurt your feelings. Sorry that the truth hurts. Keep your comments to yourself, and I won't have to stop to your level to get you to back off. Honestly, family does not give anyone that right. Nor does it mean she gets to say and do what she wants. Anyone saying that's who she is dealing with it. Tell them this is who I am, and I refuse to allow anyone to treat me like that and get away with being a bully. Refuse to be left alone with her. I'm glad to hear your husband stands up for you when his mom is psychologically abusing you. We don't all have that going for us. My husband has defended his mom's sharp tongue, as he describes it, for over 20 years because she had a rough childhood. Well, so did he and so did I, but our kids still come around to see us because we didn't manipulate and demean them. Next story 2. She told me to keep my partner out of our conversations. Little bit of a roller coaster, but TLDR is that she texted me 3 days in a row, and texted my own mom 2 of those days when I didn't reply in one day. I told him and he got mad at her for breaking the boundaries he set. She texted me back saying to keep him out of our conversations so he doesn't stress. Long version, I moved out of the house his parents own temporarily so my partner and I could have some space to work on things. I left some of my things not knowing what would happen in the future. We had also split some furniture costs, with him still owing me money, and I brought a lot of kitchen items. Given he was the only one in the house and he was using my stuff and gave me permission, I didn't see a major issue. Anyways, it's been about 6 months. I'm living at my parents' right now. She went over on the weekend to help him clean and got upset that my stuff was in the way and that it was disrespectful. Obviously it's not ideal, but also it's not her business what he keeps in the house or not. Anyways, she texted me while I was at work and I forgot to reply when I got home. The next day she texted again and also texted my mom, and then the day after told me I had 2 weeks or she would charge me. I texted her back and said I'd have it out by end of the month. Then she told me not to discuss it with him. I let her know that I would not do that and she got so mad. I later found out that his dad also texted him and said, "Good thing it's not me dealing with her and don't let her manipulate you, we're the ones that love you unconditionally." Like, is that not manipulation? Anyways, it's been fun. I told him I will not have any more contact with them, even if we stay together. He's not speaking to them right now either, but I don't know if he would actually go and see given he lives in a house they bought him. I feel bad he has to deal with this, but I'm trying not to be too involved and just let him know I'm there for him. Lest I manipulate him more. EDA, just venting, not looking for advice at the moment. As long as I get my stuff out by the deadline there shouldn't be any more issues, unless she decided to tell me to not see him or speak to him. I don't think that would go over well with him either. Comment. Get your items and leave it be. Ask your mother to stop texting his mom because it's not helping, and it's not about picking a side at all, she just needs to butt the heck out. Too many cooks in the kitchen with this situation. It's a red flag for sure when someone asks you to keep a secret from someone else. That's abuse 101 college course material. Absolutely keep taking about it. It sounds like honestly you're over this. You may think your partner is wanting to choose you over all this, but he's still living under his parents' thumb. Nothing is set in stone. No one is going to think ill of you for leaving this toxic environment right now. We'd rather see you leave now than have you have to do it years later with 8 kids and it get worse and worse and worse financially and emotionally. Get away now before there's worse legal ties. Good for you. He's not emotionally mature enough to put a stop to his parents' manipulation and enmeshment long term. Good plan. Make some space and focus on yourself. I'm actually very glad your mom didn't reply. That opens a whole can of worms you can't put back. Cheers, m'lady. I hope it works out for you. Your stuff, but the items that filled out the household and that he used. So now he just has no, cookware. That'll for sure make her son love her back all unconditionally. /s what a horrible woman. Not that Phil sounds any better. You did the right thing. My Mill also thinks keeping secrets from your partner is a normal thing to do, which is probably why she's been married 3 times. It is promising that your partner is setting up boundaries and enforcing them. Next story 3. My mother-in-law thinks she's above everyone. Me and my BF have been together for almost a year. Since we live a bit far away, we sometimes sleep at each other's house. We still live with our parents. I thought everything was fine until I invited my boyfriend over to my other family who lives 4 hours away one weekend. His mother said yes until the last day when she told him he couldn't go. We already had everything ready. Apparently she thinks that my mother, the best mother in the world, lets me do whatever I want and she gives me no limits. I don't need them because I literally just go to college and my boyfriend's house. I don't go out, lol. Mill thinks my family is pushing me towards my boyfriend, that my family wants him to take care of me, practically calling us gold diggers. My family has always been very close and they are the most important thing to me. They also love my boyfriend very much. I never thought that someone could think something so ugly about my family, aunts, grandmothers, cousins, great-grandmother, etc. My boyfriend's parents do have more money, but it's not like they have much, maybe a less than double our income. I am studying civil engineering at the best university in the country, a career that earns well in my country, while my boyfriend is studying industrial design, not that well paid. I honestly don't understand who gave her the right to speak so badly of my family. My boyfriend tells me everything and that's why I know about the argument they had. I really thought she liked me, that's why I'm so hurt. Now I don't know if with my boyfriend we will have a future together. We will no longer see each other so much because I don't want to go to his house like never. I no longer want to see my mother-in-law. If I see her I think I will burst in tears. Should I break up with my boyfriend or act like nothing happened? Comment. I would just break up with him. He lives with her, she cooks his food and does his laundry most likely, so he's not going to disagree with her or stand up for you to her. Right now she's just your boyfriend's disapproving mom. If she ever becomes your Mill she will get much worse and say much meaner things, they always do. She won't make your relationship easy, she'll make it as hard as possible to run you off or convince her son to break up with you. Unless he has plans to move out of his mother's house in the next month, I would end it just because you don't deserve to deal with that stress and bitterness. If it's meant to be, y'all will find your way back to each other after college maybe. Oh, and trust me, if y'all ever have kids one day, she will somehow get even worse. Mean Mills are literally Satan's whores, I swear. We're NC with mine because it started the same, only difference was me and my husband were a little older and lived on our own, so her opinion didn't matter. Once we got married she got worse, We went no NC, but that didn't stop her harassment. We had children and now had to get a RO so she would leave our kid alone. Save yourself, girl. Yeah. Your boyfriend is 21 and doing as mommy tells him. He can see you anytime he wants to. He's an adult, for goodness sake. You're 19, you don't need your parents to give you rules and boundaries other than respecting their house and general house rules, like taking shoes off before going inside, etc. Does he stand up to his mom about you and what she's saying at all, or does he brush it aside and make comments like he doesn't want to rock the boat? Because it sounds like he's going to have to fight for the relationship, and if he doesn't, then she will intrude and make life miserable. Definitely worth considering if this is the future you want to deal with and whether or not there are other red flags he's waving. I wouldn't break up just yet. Have the conversation that he's a big boy, and if he wants to be with you, then be with you. If he's proven to be too much of a mama's boy, then I'd break up with him. Your self-respect and time is worth too much.